Okay. Ms. Lillie, tell me how you got involved with the protest marches.
Core. Cecil Brown, Janetta Robinson, Miss Simpson, and I can't think of the other couple of names. That's how I got involved. March with the marches. We used to march. We marched on Wisconsin. We marched on the school board. We did a lot of marches on the school board. That was something else. You're out there walking in the car. This man come storming out of the door. Go back to Africa. Knowing me, I said, I wouldn't have been here if you hadn't brought me here. And Miss Simpson said, be quiet, be quiet. I said, he meddling me, I ain't bothering him. It was something. So Miss Simpson,
you were marching for education. What was the issue? What were you marching for?
the issue of education, school, good teachers and stuff like that. That's what we were marching for. So.
Now, how did your neighbors feel? How did the community feel? Were most of the community involved, or were there just a few of you?
Some was and some wasn't. You know, you march, you get things set up. A lot of them would say, I ain't getting on no picket line. But when the jobs and doors start open, they be the first in line. The one that marched is on the back. So that's the way that was. I started out with Cora, with Miss Simpson. I used to go with Miss Simpson. We used to knock on doors. They closed the door in our face. So otherwise than that. So I told Miss Simpson, I said, well, we're going to have to get us some paper. Take us a pencil and piece of paper and tell them where the meeting was going to be. Some of them come, some wouldn't. They ain't walking no picket line. And some of them did not walk a picket line. But when things were open, they were there. So we marched on Wisconsin, I think to that old bank, not old bank, the post office. The Savannah had open heart surgery. I said, well, I gotta stay. She said, no, Savannah can go ride with me and y'all walk. That's where Janetta, she was a beautiful person. So otherwise than that, that picket line was something else.
How bad was it?
It was pretty bad. Some of them ain't gonna do right. So otherwise than that. And how often, let me say how often did I have to get upset? I got upset, I got the work did. I believe they were going to, at the state for park or something. And we had march for this. I didn't go. I sent her. I always sent her with Miss Simpson because my son was a baby at the time. So Miss Simpson, she said, well, the bus is clouded. I said, clouded? I said, how is it clouded? She said, everybody that march got their children down here. I said, what? I'll be there in a minute. I guess down they was in a meeting about the buses. I walked up in there and I said, where's Cecil? He in a meeting. I said, I don't care if he is in a meeting. I'm in the meeting too. And I wasn't even there. And walking out, Be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. I said, be quiet. I said, I didn't walk for nothing. I said, the ones that didn't walk, gonna walk off of that bus if there ain't another bus.
Why was your family such an activist family?
I don't know, it's just, really, I don't know how I got into this. One thing, there's a lot of prejudice where I come from. If they like you, they like you. If they didn't, you go hell. I mean, so otherwise than that. And when you got kids, she kept me on string. She'd be wanting to go to this and go to that, go to this and go to that, and quite naturally I had to go and see what's going on. So meeting Miss Simpson and Janetta and other people, that's how I really got down into it. Because Janetta started out with my kids and my cousin kids.
How did you feel about what was going on in Milwaukee at the time and the fights you had going on?
I don't even, to tell you the truth, a lot of the people was right and a lot of them was wrong. They get what they can, some come along, they grab it and you don't know about it until it's over with. So I guess it's a crook and everything.
I understand it. You say you fought for education. Were you also involved in the fight for open housing? Did you march across?
I marched for that too. Mm-hmm.
Tell me about that. Did you march across the Grappy Bridge?
No. I didn't go across the bridge because they didn't want you to throw back. I said, what? Then too, I had my kids, and I'm the only one that had to see after them, and I didn't want to get in no trouble. So I said, they throw a rock, I'm gonna throw a rock. That's the way it was. And Miss Simpson said, you don't need to go. She said, because you sure will say something and throw a rock. So I said, I sure will. You don't hit me and I don't hit back. So that's why I didn't march across the Grappy Bridge.
Talk about CORE and how important it was.
CORE was very important at the time to get things together. So a lot of people didn't like CORE because it wasn't doing nothing. I said, it ain't gonna do nothing as long as you sitting down. I said, you got to get up and make some showing. So at that particular time, it was okay. But you know you're gonna find some people that ain't gonna get along. I don't care what you do.
That's true. Were there many black churches involved?
Some, it wasn't that many, it was some. It was some. Oh Lord, there's a church down here on is that 16, 14. Oh, I forget the name of the church. I ain't been down there in a while. The preacher was preaching against it, the marches and stuff. And I was sitting in the back there looking. I said, what is he talking about? He ain't got what he got. And then somebody opened the door for him. Lord have mercy. That day, the next day, the man wasn't dressed up, and I didn't know who he was at the time. I talked about that man so bad before his face, so the lady lived next door me. She said, I see you had a good conversation. I said, yeah, I had to tell him off. She said, what did you tell him? And I went on to tell her. She said, girl, that's the preacher. I said, I done did it, and I ain't ashamed.
Were you ever afraid when you were protesting?
Mm-mm. No, I wasn't afraid. Because you go out, you pray. On top of praying, I always had something in my pocket. There was something to do that. I always had something in my pocket. I said, they ain't gonna get me and get away with it.
What kind of impact did the protest have on you? Did it change your outlook about anything?
On a lot of things. About how to get your kids in the best schools that you can get them in. And you got to try to pick good teachers. And that's hard. Favoritism. And favoritism is something else.
What do you want the public to know about what happened back then in the 60s, about the protests and everything? What is it the public needs to know?
They need to, oh man, there's so much that went on. The public needs to know they got to stand on their own and work with it. Because Scott Walker's something else.
And how involved were your children?
She was very involved. I had all of my kids involved.
Why?
Wasn't nobody at home to keep them. I had to carry them with me. Stroller. Put in the stroller. So, a lot of people, girl, why you carrying them children out there? I said, I'm going to carry them till I can't.
How successful do you think the protests were?
I think it was very successful in a lot of areas. Very successful in a lot of areas. That if the person know what they want and what they're doing would
That's Liddy, that's your phone. I can hear it. It's coming.
Hold on, let me ask you that again. Let me ask you that again. How successful do you think the protests were?
I think it was very, it took effect in a lot of areas. To me, it did. Some got jobs. Some went back to school. It's a lot of things happened. Because a lot of them said they weren't going to walk on a picket line. Well, they didn't walk the picket line, but they got the jobs when they opened up. Mm-hmm.
What is your biggest memory from that time?
My biggest memory? At the time and now, for my kids and other folks' kids, I think there was some good memories come out of it.
And what's the thing you remember most about those times?
People shed those in your face. They said you go knock on the door and go talk, and they shed those in your face.
Do you think race relations are better now because of the protests?
It's a lot better. It could be better, but it's a lot better.
We're here in the creek. I mean,
Okay, now let me ask you that again. Are you back in, Liddy?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think
Okay.
race relations are better because of the protest?
Yeah. Because a lot of the kids, all they know is what their parents taught them. So that's where race come from. It's what their parents teach their children. Because like a lot of the kids wanted to come down and be with the kids in the inner city, they had to slip. Come down and party or whatever. They just come on out and tell them about it, talk to them about it. They wouldn't be so bad. They wouldn't be eager to jump over there at that black man.
Is there anything I haven't asked you about that you wanted to talk about in regards to those times, those days?
No, not really.
You still haven't told me your fondest memory. What's the one thing you remember most from those days?
I guess having fun walking the picket line. Yep, I guess walking the picket line.
You formed a friendship with a lot of those people, I
Oh.
gather.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.